Hi class, me Mr. Morris. Now that we've talked a little bit about solutions and what solute and solvent are, what a concentrated solution is, what a dilute solution is, we want to go into something a little bit more detailed, a little bit more mathematical. This is the concentration set of notes. So concentration, what that actually is, it's a measure to express quantitatively, in other words, in terms of numbers, not just the concept, but quantitatively, how much solute is dissolved in a solvent. So just how concentrated is the solution. And there are actually several different units of concentration. The main one we're going to talk about is molarity, but I wanted to just briefly introduce this other one, percent by mass. It's a fairly simple concept, and it's not one we're going to use just a ton, but it's something that you should be aware of. It is the mass of your solute, or whatever it is that you dissolved in the solution, divided by the mass of the whole solution times 100. So it's kind of like most of the time when we talk about percent. It's the part divided by the whole times 100. So we've got the mass of the solute divided by the mass of both the solute and the solvent, or the mass of the solution overall, and then you multiply by 100%. So here's an example down here. In order to maintain a sodium chloride concentration similar to ocean water, an aquarium must contain 3.6 grams of NaCl per 100 grams of water. What is the percent mass of NaCl in the solution? Well, if we have 100 grams of water and 3.6 grams of NaCl, then my mass of solution, that's the part, remember, if we want to find the percent, that's what I'm looking for, we need to have the mass of the solute. Well, our solute here is salt, NaCl, so 3.6 grams. And then we also need the mass of the solution. Remember, the solution is made up of the solute and the solvent. Well, our solvent is water, so that's going to be 100.0 plus 3.6, which is 103.6 grams. So when I do my calculation, the percent mass equals 3.6 divided by 103.6 times 100. So a lot of students get confused with this type of question because they assume it's just the mass, the smaller mass that's given, divided by the second mass that's given, or the larger mass that's given. Not necessarily true. You've got to make sure that it is the mass of the solute divided by the total mass, which is the mass of the solution. So when you multiply this, when you put this in a calculator, we would just do, 3.6 over 103.6 times 100. That's 3.47. That's what it is, 3.47%. Or percent mass. Let's do another example real quick. A bleach solution contains 5.25% of NaOCl. That's our percent, the percent mass. How many grams of NaOCl? Sounds like that's the mass of the solute, or in a bottle of bleach that's containing 485.0 grams of solution. Alright, so let's label our variables again. So I could say my percent mass was what was given, 5.25%. Mass of solute is the thing I'm looking for, grams of solute. And I have 485 grams of the solution. 485.0 grams. Just wanted to make sure that was right. Now we can set up our problem. 5.25, that's our percent, equals the mass of solute, so we can call that M. Label it M solute if you wanted to, or just M is fine, over 485.0 times 100. And then we can just rearrange and solve. So I know that I'm going to have to multiply 485 by 5.25 and then divide by 100. So our mass of the solute can be found by doing that operation right there. 5.25 times 485 over 100. 25.5 grams. How many grams of water are in the solution? So how would I find the number of grams of water? Well, water's our solvent. So if I want to know the number of grams in the solvent, it's going to be the mass of the solution minus the mass of the solute. So I have 485.0 grams of solution minus 25.5 grams of the solute. So remember, the solution is solute plus solvent. So if I want to know how much solvent there is, I need to just subtract. So 485.0 minus 25.5 equals 459.5 grams of solvent, which is water.